BRAISY of the ability to kind of stack back up after that last fight. It's going to make this fight right here much closer. As you can see, they're both incredibly low, looking for that last nail, and they kill each other. BRAISY gets the hit first, but that round goes to k1llsen.
Yeah, thank you, projectiles there, k1llsen saying. As Super Nail Gun now is also incredibly powerful. And especially if you're a big, beefy champion like the Clutch, you're going to be eating a lot of those nails. We're going to be getting off to the start of round 2, where I believe we have exactly the same champions pick. Slash from k1llsen, Athena from RAISY.
Yep, and it's going to be RAISY still kind of scouring the back end of the map. He got a Mega Spawn, which meant that he could have possibly dropped down to LG and Rail early. Didn't go for it, which means k1llsen's going to be in complete control of most of the weapons. Does he have a rocket launcher of his own yet? Not just yet, but he's looking for some damage on RAISY as he's going for those all-important weapons down by the LG and Rail. So k1llsen taking over top T. We got Mega and Armor coming back up. That could be a break in the tension, but it's going to be a little bit longer before RAISY, or rather k1llsen gets himself a rocket, but there it is.
Just while k1llsen was getting that rocket, RAISY only just got himself onto the Rail and LG. We do get a small trade of damage, not really favoring anyone in particular yet, but here comes the chase. LG from k1llsen's actually been really solid, and RAISY's been struggling to output the damage. Finally, some rockets are hitting, and just in time, really, because he's finally pushed k1llsen away, so he can try and secure one of these next major items.
That was such a messy fight, though. I think it was nice for them to both break off. Like, this isn't going to make any of us look good. But now, here comes the collapse from k1llsen. He's got almost no LG ammo to work with, but a few rockets. Going for the speed, looking for the rail angle. Not quite getting it just yet. RAISY's going to be coming in from the LG room. k1llsen's making a lot of sound. RAISY's got to know he's up there. k1llsen's looking for the rail. But RAISY's being incredibly sneaky, even as an Athena here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Not like this.
No, not like that. RAISY, it was an interesting thought there, but it's good reaction, good weapon out for k1llsen to have. Is going to find RAISY with a visor just picking up the Mega Helmet. It's a perfect time to do damage right after the item's been consumed. And really, if he can get himself to full natural, I feel like he might even just want to push forward and capitalize on his control of weapons.
But right now, RAISY's got a little bit of extra help. This is a collapse from k1llsen going right down onto the LG, and you know, 25 years of Quake, it's got to tell you that that's not a good idea, but RAISY's incredibly weak right now. He's got a little bit of armor to work with, but getting health is going to be another story altogether, especially since k1llsen got his spawn. That gives him great priority over this Mega, which means he's going to be wanting to get right back into the fight with only rockets and Tribal, but could be worth it.
It's been interesting through the metas, figuring out whether RAISY decides to play the visor or not. I know at his famous victory in Italy, he didn't think that visor was necessary whatsoever, but it's a champion that he's elected to pick on this occasion. It's fascinating to follow RAISY and champions that he decides to use, because he always seems to have like these fantastic ideas of what's going on in the meta, even though we're still in the junior parts of it. So maybe stuff to just keep an eye on as we go through the series.
Well, it's going to come down to weapon choices there, and that was a messy fight. So far, k1llsen has been showing absolutely no fear towards RAISY, but it looks like RAISY himself is warming up just a little bit. Another frag where he's left incredibly low. But look at this aggression, and RAISY goes down immediately. k1llsen just doesn't care today.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see that aggressive play. Now k1llsen's going to have to be really, really good. He's got one champion left. He does manage to dodge a super shotgun blast. The shield is gone. What would be really good from him is if he could deny a whole load of those hourglasses. He has got the super nail gun. Now heading towards LG room. Just get rid of the hourglasses. I think that would be a huge crutch for RAISY if he just can't get his ability up quickly over these next 8 seconds.
I'm sure k1llsen wants to get rid of the shield as well, and the LG on the jump pad will be a great way to do it. Dropping down again immediately. Wow. Taking a bit of damage, but that is going to be another round going to k1llsen. If he can keep this pace up, and RAISY can't quite find a way to keep up, then it's going to be a quick map.
Yeah, I'm surprised where RAISY's getting caught out at the moment in these fights.
Yeah.
I don't feel like k1llsen's playing... I don't feel like he's having to play out of his mind right now to take down RAISY. He just seems to be popping up in the wrong areas, and it's, well, causing casualties.
Absolutely. k1llsen right back on the LG rail side of the map looking for the trap here. Can't quite get that first rail, but RAISY's still kind of playing like he's going to go for that jump pad. k1llsen doesn't want him to. Got 10 seconds to armor. At some point, k1llsen's going to want a rocket launcher, but he's putting a lot of pressure on RAISY right now, making it difficult for RAISY to know when he's breaking off to go get that all-important weapon. But there it is. Heavy's up. Mega's about to be up. We've got the trade. We've got the audio cues. and we could be meeting right back here at the jump pad rather. And wow, the fact that llsen was able to get in so fast meant that RAISY had no chance to get out of the tight little hallway, but his rockets are on point today.
I actually thought that llsen was going to win that fight. He had such a good entry to it, but RAISY was very consistent with his damage output. He's now going to be able to find llsen on the Ranger. LG honed in. That's going to be another frag, and finally RAISY's coming to life a little bit in this map, because if he loses this round or any of the next two following, it's going to be map one going towards llsen.
Yeah. And so far his MO has been, I can eat a champion if it means I do, 120 damage or so. But so far in this round, RAISY's got 2 frags up on him. llsen has to start thinking with his other brain a little bit here.
Oh, that brain.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll explain it to you later.
That's a lot of damage done to llsen. He should be able to find him down here. Push in. It's a formality, this one. Brilliant weapon switch. That was actually, 125 damage shotgun blast. I think he only needed about the 25 bit, but good to see that his accuracy is in there.
Well, it's going to be another round here, and RAISY actually finally putting one on his belt. And it's going to be an important start. We've been kind of noting the initial setup here, but RAISY's actually going for the visor immediately this time. llsen is going to have all kinds of speed as a slash. Not a great spawn if you're playing a faster character, though. You really want to have, the ability to get a first rocket launcher and then collapse onto the LG rail. But right now, llsen is on the hunt, on the prowl. He's going to be finding RAISY here. It's going to come down to these rockets. But, oh, the machine gun switch from RAISY just in time.
He's so good at just switching to those right weapons, especially when he was fairly limited on weaponry. And his HMG damage, he knows as soon as it's out of the LG range, even though he doesn't have LG, or out of the range of hitting reliable rockets, he's immediately switching to those weapons that can be super effective. And llsen probably felt a lot more comfortable than he actually was in that fight.
That's been kind of the story here so far. His comfort level hasn't really mattered too much, and again, the aggression with the dire orb just couldn't track him on the rebound, which means that RAISY's going to pick up that frag again, but he's super weak. llsen wants to make it happen, even with just light MG. He's just throwing himself against the RAISY wall right now, and that has been going well for him so far. However, now we're going to be turning things over into a 5th round.
I feel like these 4 rounds, the first 2 are very similar to the second 2, but there's you just switch the player names around, and then you kind of determine whose ass has really been getting kicked when. This is obviously a llsen map. Well, I say obviously. It is a llsen map, and whoever wins this one now is going to take an advantage in the series. But it's best of 5s, remember. You've still got plenty of maps ahead of us in this series, but it could be a telling sign if RAISY is able to take map 1 away from llsen.
And this might be the first time in this map that we've seen llsen actually go a little bit lower, a little bit slower, trying to stay quiet. He's got LG rail. It's going to be a little bit noisy crossing mid, but RAISY's going to take some damage. Oh, llsen needed that rail. But there's the Mega picked up, and there's the rest of the weapons for llsen, so he's going to be looking for a fight back down by LG. He's looking for it, not quite finding it. And RAISY's been able to hide down at the heavy armor instead. He's got the pickup for the stack, so when they do inevitably clash, it's going to be a pretty even amount of damage required.
Yeah, it has been getting pretty different, especially with RAISY also being a lot slower. He was the one running into llsen at the beginning of the game and giving up pretty easy kills. He's just been incredibly patient. He's not using Athena off the start. Damage is good. 1 HP, I think that is. I cannot even see the health bar at the top for llsen. He barely survives. However, RAISY's going to give up the heavy. They're going to be both items taken at the same time, so rotations shouldn't be too complex. And llsen just sails out of that corridor as he knows that rail is trying to track him.
That's a lot of movement to only pick up 225s, though. In the meantime, RAISY's been able to get a good amount of armor as well as Mega, which means llsen might not be ready for this fight just yet. But RAISY's about to get his piercing sight back up. I wonder if he's going to pop it immediately and look for the kill on llsen.
I think he'll want to get the item first, and if he hears the Mega getting taken, he might not use the ability for a couple of moments after.
Well, he's going to hear that. But RAISY is actually delaying the armor a little bit, wanting llsen to come down to this fight. And llsen wants to get in there. He's not exactly backing off here. And by the time he wants to back off, it might be too late. From 1 HP in the last fight to 3 HP in this one, he's having to make very similar moves to stay alive. But this time, RAISY might be able to hunt him down. Yep, the 225s are unsafe down here. RAISY's collapsing. Here's the LG. 1 rocket could do it, but there's RAISY taking the frag.
That's a really, really nice chase from RAISY. You could see he knew how much damage he did in the fight beforehand. He was using rocket jumps all over the place in order to get closer to k1llsen. And he does manage to secure first one. However, he's lost a decent chunk of his stack. He can't really defend the heavy very easily. Good exit damage. It will give k1llsen second thoughts in terms of chasing really quickly in the next fight. But he's actually averted all cause for concern at the moment. I was really worried about him right off the back end, the end of his last kill.
It feels like with some of k1llsen's commitments, he's acting as if he's already softened up RAISY with the rail or two, and ever since like the first round, he hasn't really been hitting too many of those. So I mean, again, there's a few misses, but he's not really taking the fact that he's missed into account.
And this exit damage he did on the last set of major items, and then being able to that allowed him to be able to take all of the following items because he managed to get those light armors. He gets a kill there with the entry rail damage just by pushing k1llsen down, him not expecting the aggression. Like, RAISY has just turned it up to 100 at the moment since the beginning of the game. I do not know what happened to him, but it's a different player we're watching now to the start of Rails.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic trade of rails. A nice little rocket to sneak in there as well, as RAISY picks up Mega. He's got armor as well, so k1llsen is just treading water right now. He's only now going to get rockets. Hasn't been able to push himself out to LG just yet. If he wants it, it could be a little bit dangerous for him. It's going to be a longer road. RAISY's overlooking it. He's possibly going to hear the pickup if he's out there in mid. He's going to hear the teleporter for sure. So k1llsen's able to stay safe, but he's just scrounging for the poverty items. Nice rail, but it's going to be a trade, and k1llsen just cannot take too many of these.
He's going to rush down, actually. He wants this. k1llsen's not going to commit to that heavy. He knows if he goes there, he's completely committed to a fight. He doesn't want to do that. He's only got 45 seconds, though, in order to get rid of RAISY's control, establish his own, and get 2 frags. That is a ludicrous amount of work
the time limit. Yeah, this is the first round where that's actually been a factor at all. But now you're right. k1llsen has got to turn up the juice a little bit here, but he just doesn't have the stack to justify it. He still doesn't have an LG. Here's the play for Mega. It's going to be, a fight that could really go his way. 2 great rockets, but he's still on the chase here. The LG could end it, but RAISY goes down. 20 seconds to pick up a frag. That totem's going to help him get a little bit more health. RAISY's spotted. He's going to be popping back through the teleporter. Or just playing the teleporter just to waste some time. But no, he's out in the cross rocket. There's 1 rail off, and he's going to be stuck up against the wall. But I just don't think k1llsen can catch up with that robo.
Yeah, it's just the perfect champion choice. Absolutely perfect second champion choice. k1llsen needed to do more in the time available to him before those final 40 seconds. And it's going to allow RAISY to eventually win map number 1. After he was down 2-0, keep in mind.
Yeah.
And he takes it back 3-2. And the weird thing is actually, even though it's a 3-2, it looked pretty convincing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I mean, things really did turn around. And even in the earlier rounds, k1llsen was really, for the lack of a better phrase, just plus forwarding on that a whole lot. Really just going for as much damage as he could, using the Dire Orb right off the bat as aggressively as he could, not just for repositioning, but trying to get some damage in. And RAISY got wise to it. He stopped kind of walking into k1llsen's traps, and once k1llsen started getting damaged himself and has to spend more time collecting 25s and small armors, then, well, that cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, no, indeed. I'm just going to see if these guys are ready, because we're going to Corrupted Keep next.
Hey,
One thing also to say is that RAISY has had internet issues for a while since he's moved into his current place, which has meant that he often has to play with 100 ping no matter where he connects to. He's actually, I believe, right now playing at normal, steady ping. So I wonder if that's going to sort of boost his feelings and experience going
Pro
through
tip,
this game.
if you're moving, test the internet first before you sign anything.
Which is something I should have done as well. And I normally do it every single time, but I have terrible internet. So that's why I can't yell at RAISY too much, because I also am terrible at this. But you can yell at both of us, so you have that power.
Yeah, I will. I'll just feel smug, that's all. All right, but here we are getting our picks for Corrupted Keep. It's going to be RAISY on Athena at the moment. Ranger still for k1llsen, Ranger Galena. Pretty standard fare so far. Athena from RAISY on Corrupted Keep. There's a few things you can do on Corrupted Keep with Athena, but it's generally tighter quarters. But there's the clutch. k1llsen
really
kind of.
he needs a champion that has some mobility because we can see that the clutch
Yeah.
has been picked. Hopefully, we'll get onto the champions really soon, guys. He's gonna go
It's
clutch
another
himself,
clutch, yeah. Alright.
which is fair enough. I don't think ll.sen's clutch is as good as Raisy's, but he needs something that can play against it somehow, or even off spawn, be safe, or put pressure on a clutch which hasn't got a shield up, for instance. So, other choice could have tried Slash, but Slash isn't typically used much on Corrupted Keep. Athena, maybe he's not feeling amazingly comfortable on Athena. Anaki's banned, which is probably one of the #1 counters to clutch that I'd go for. Otherwise, I'm trying to think. Maybe even a Sorlag isn't a terrible idea.
Sorlag is great on this map as far as movement goes. You still get caught by LG, and it's a very LG heavy map. But here we go into it. First round of Corrupted Keep with Razy up a map. But it's going to be Razy spawning on the heavy and immediately going low. He's checking Mega in order to cross through to get that LG, assuming that ll.sen has just left that area, getting that all-important weapon. But Razy's got a decent stack. The initial damage is good. Caught in the air, though. It's going to come down to who's longer and stronger. It's going to be Razy just by a little bit.
The longest and strongest. That was a pretty insane LG fight, actually. But well executed. ll.sen's gonna go straight for the clutch. Second pick. And Razy, given his expertise in the arts of clutch, I'm very curious how he's gonna fight against it, because surely if you know how to be the strongest with it, you can fight against it too. And sometimes it's just running through when they don't expect, hitting the full 140 blast with the super shotgun, and then they're just so weak they can't do anything anyway.
That was almost a murder. Yeah, ll.sen just caught completely flat-footed by that SSG, but Razy making good on it. ll.sen down to a Galena. Razy tightening the noose just a little bit here, wishing he had a rail, but here's the drop for the heavy, and Razy's going to give it to him. He wants the Mega instead. He wants to be safe on the LG. Doesn't want to let ll.sen get an easy pickup, which is immediately where ll.sen had committed to. There was no second thought about, all right, it's time to go to LG. Razy caught him once again.
He did it again.
Yeah.
He did the same thing. He just go, I'm just going through the teleporter. You normally don't go through the teleporter like that. You normally have this thing called respect, and there is none at the moment. Razy is you put it exactly the best way, catching him flat-footed every time.
So ll.sen's got to be a little bit more careful about his calculations about how long it takes to get to LG, whether it or not it's the time to get to LG, whether Razy can set up there first. It's going to be a lot of math for him, but it's going to be some nice LG to begin with, keeping Razy kind of stuck down in this corner. We've got Razy with a rocket launch already, but they're going to be meeting in a choke point. Bad rockets coming out of Razy. It's going to take one solid one to stay alive, but Razy is going to be able to get a little bit of health from the totem. He's going to be looking for some of these 25s, but ll.sen can immediately come back in for the aggression that we know that he wants. Great rocket.
Yeah, that was perfect. And that what was even nicer there is that Razy had to delay on right at the beginning of the round. He didn't go for heavy first, even though he had heavy spawn. He went for the rockets, and then he came back and got heavy, and ll.sen was totally thrown off by that.
At this point, I'm wondering what FOV ll.sen is playing with, because there's a few spots where Razy just juked him. And it didn't need to go that way, but here we go. Some corner play. 100 damage rocket off that corner. Not something ll.sen expected. He is trying to get out of there. Back over to the red room to get some 25s, but yeah, that's not a great way to start off that fight.
He's just got the heavy machine gun too. He's going to end up giving up the heavy armor, but he's been doing such a great job with damage. He's got good weapons for it. Super nail gun, I think I'd also prescribe, but you've got enough at your disposal right now to take care of business with ll.sen. And ll.sen's trying to slow the game down a little bit. He's been getting caught off guard so many times. I think he wants to be the one to get the pounce. He doesn't want to get pounced on.
But every time ll.sen pops out, he's just taking a ton of damage. We've got triple totems for Razy, so that's a lot of free health. Even if a fight doesn't go his way, he can still back off and get a lot for free. But we got Mega coming back up, and ll.sen's in here for the fight. His timing was actually pretty good, and that was actually any man's Mega. But Razy has had 2 of his totems knocked off. Really good damage against ll.sen, but he's still got a little bit of an advantage.
It's being quite the juke actually at the moment from him. He should have another totem, so he's back up to almost full natural health. And the machine gun out. There's a shield available, but ll.sen's refusing to use it. And here comes the heavy. Razy's about to get heavy, and then now he can challenge onto the mega health.
Good LG,
spawning
good
right
totem
behind.
usage. Getting in close range with the SSG, getting good damage off of it. Razy's still weak, but ll.sen can't push on that totem without firing against it, and that opens him up to too much shotgun. Oh, he had to hear the health. Razy had the right idea, but with the extra, like, 25 pickup, it's not worth it.
Yeah, and that's
Nice.
just silly. I don't think he even needed to use the shield, actually. He just rushed him right off the spawn.
He wanted the mining laser, you know?
He might actually regret using the shield at the beginning because Killson's going to have an advantage in the fight, but he's just going aggressive. Again,
What was that?
He's not bothered. Yeah, never mind. Don't worry.
Yeah. Nicely done by Razy here so far, just reading the situations very well. And every time k1llsen has committed to going to LG, Razy has something ready for him. Let's see how the spawns go this time. It's going to be Razy on the rocket launcher right away. k1llsen is just making a beeline immediately for... Oh, okay, he used the dire orb. Did he actually get an LG pickup there? Not quite.
Wait. k1llsen's still both. Okay, he does love his ranger tricks, actually.
Yeah.
So he's one of the guys that you'll see doing these off the start of a round.
I was about to go, wait, that teleporter doesn't go there. Oh, yeah.
I see what you did there. Oh, that's good damage, actually, from k1llsen. Razy's got to be really, really careful, actually. Having lost out on all major items at the beginning is annoying. But he's going to find the heavy in a second. k1llsen's not been able to replicate what he did off the start, and he didn't capitalize off his super early control by getting an early frag, so now the pressure might be against him.
Nice damage. Trying to use the totem to recover a little bit, but not pulling out of the fight immediately, so that could be a lost out totem. Razy's looking for a rocket. Not quite getting the hits just yet, and actually playing through this this window is going to cost him. Ooh, great rocket though on the exit, but still, k1llsen's got a crazy stack, and if they clash right here, it could end very quickly. Razy can't even pick up the heavy armor.
Yeah, that was very brave going that direction. He should have known that a fight was going to be on its way. Razy's going to try and get out. He's going to be completely unsuccessful. Why did you use that? That's really, really bad because he's going to get crushed now, and he cannot escape easily at all. Shield was also used, though. Jahab, please explain what's going on.
There's a little bit of miscommunicated there, especially with Razy showing up on the Mega about 5 seconds too early. He thought that k1llsen leaving meant that he was going to be going for an immediate pickup of the heavy, so trading the item made sense, but the timing is a little bit awkward, and it's had repercussions. Razy never really found his bearings after that.
Yeah, both players use their abilities early. It's much worse for a clutch if to use the ability early and not get anything from it, generally. Because then it means that the other player is completely off the hook, their mistake is unpunished, and they can then get their ability earlier, providing you trade on the hourglasses equally, which on corrupted keep is incredibly likely, given the placement for the hourglasses each side of the map.
Yeah,
but we go into we go into round 4. We're still with an advantage for Razy. He's lost that crazy momentum he had at the start of the map, but I still favor him at this stage.
His just HMG usage across the map has just been pummeling k1llsen. k1llsen wants in on this LG. He's just playing every corner he can, bouncing back and forth between them. But Razy is not going to be giving it to him for free. And even on the exit from the heavy, Razy has an answer for him. Just fantastic anticipation. But now Razy's left a hole open in the LG, and now k1llsen's going to have that pickup. Did he even have time to get the grab there? Just barely. He's got to make good use of it here. Tries to go for the dire orb and ends up dying himself.
That was really, really close. It was just well played from Razy for doing as much damage as he did, as quick as he did, because that dire orb was on track to kill him, just like that rocket. Really nice rocket. We're down 2 champions each. Wasn't expecting that.
Do not die yet.
And now Razy's going to be on Athena, and yeah, I'm a little bit curious about, exactly how to play this out on Corrupted Keep, but good use of it so far to get both the heavy and the mega. A little bit of Roadrunner antics there, as k1llsen is going to be left with almost nothing to pick up, stuck there in the red room to pick up the 225s, but here comes the collapse from Razy. He's going to be going on the chase with the hooks, almost catches him blindsided by that rocket, but Razy's got a little bit more chasing to do.
Well played from k1llsen to avoid death. It seemed like it was imminent. A bit more LG damage. He might even get himself a kill soon. Puts him down to 50 HP. It's the heavy that's actually the next big item to spawn, and he's just given that up. Oh, the rocket tickles him. But I feel like Razy, with now access to health bubbles, is going to be in a slightly advantageous spot. However, you see by the number by his character portrait, that means he's got maximum 1 hook.
Yeah.
Which all of a sudden doesn't matter because he did a 100 damage rocket and is now got the kill.
Yeah, these 100 damage rockets, just, you can hear k1llsen just going, ah.
Yeah.
Where to now? Because it totally short circuits all of his plans. But speaking of, he's going to be down to a clutch, his last possible champion to save his life in Corrupted Keep. RAISY looking for this Mega again, a little bit early on it, but they're going to be clashing back in LG. RAISY a little bit late getting through the teleporter. I'm wondering how intentional that was. That means it's a little bit of an awkward fight here. There's some body blocking from the hook, but k1llsen's shield runs out, and it's going to be a lot more LG coming from RAISY. Can k1llsen actually get out of this fight?
Oh.
No, he cannot. Corrupted Keep goes to RAISY.
I think he overestimated how much damage he'd done to RAISY because he was going for those very light mid-range super shotgun spams. You know, they can hurt. You can probably get up to maybe 45 damage or so with them, maybe a bit more if you're really on the money with your shots. But RAISY still had about 60 or so health left. Really nutty map.
Yeah.
But we're kind of seeing these sudden exchanges of a direct rocket totally changes who's got an advantage, and then that player is acting really quickly. That play usually being RAISY, as he's now at a 2-map advantage, and it means we're going over to Awoken.
There's got to be something going on in k1llsen's head where he's realizing that, I mean, Ruins of Sarnath was messy, yeah, but Corrupted Keep, k1llsen was just outmaneuvered and outthought most of the time. Like every time k1llsen wanted to go in for LG, RAISY had an answer for him. Even if it meant that RAISY was backing off, RAISY was cognizant of k1llsen the entire time. And more often than not, that meant that he was able to set up HMG angles. He was able to get really good rocket spam. I mean, yeah, we just go, wow, what a shot. But it's just because RAISY was already set up on the TP exit. He was already set up on the window corner. And going into Awoken, a very small map where comparatively you have a lot of dense information about where your opponent is and where he's going all the time. This could be very similar to Corrupted Keep.
Yeah. I like what you're saying about that damage and also with the HMG from RAISY. It's like you take an item and it's, oh, I've already lost everything that I had as a benefit.
Yeah.
Just good. And RAISY, that's one thing. I've been playing RAISY a tiny bit like, over the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately met up with him in ranked. I'm not saying it's good. I've been dying rapidly. But I just feel like there's no way to escape his grasp. He's always putting some pressure on you, and he's always making the map feel incredibly small. We do see something. We're going back over to a double anarchy setup. Sorry, double clutch setup.
Yeah.
But k1llsen's going to have to pull up all the stops to get a win here off RAISY.
I almost want to say the opposite. He's got to get way slow. He's got to get quiet, low and slow, get some traps of his own.
Maybe that is the stops.
Yeah, okay,
Who
sure,
knows
yeah.
what the stops are? The players
but
tell
here
us
we go.
what the stops are.
We're gonna find the wingman.
we got Christmas RAISY in as well.
Yeah. The holidays aren't over for him just yet. And if you can get a win off against k1llsen here, then that'll be a nice feather in his cap. Going over to the semifinals tomorrow. But right here, right now, we got RAISY spawning up as Athena on Awoken. I'm not sure if that hook actually saved him that much time, but k1llsen's having to kind of compensate for how quickly RAISY can get across the map with that hook. And RAISY's right back over to rail. And actually, that's interesting because usually you look to k1llsen to be somebody to kind of play somebody like Guy here and get some really early aggression on Awoken. Oh no!
Ow.
Oh no!
See,
Yes.
I think k1llsen is expecting the tri-bolt really to maybe help more than it is. I don't know how rehearsed he is, but he's using the tri-bolt a lot. The tri-bolt has been reduced in effectiveness quite a bit. And the super nail gun has been increased, almost getting himself one more kill. But k1llsen will survive that, pick up a bunch of health. And the next rotation of items come out in about 10 seconds time.
And he's got to be worried because, yeah, RAISY's going to be hunting for him immediately off the spawn. There's the pickup, there's the shield. A great rail, though. There's no SSG for k1llsen just yet. Oh, wow, great rocket. Right back up the jump pad, and RAISY's pinned against the wall. He's going to be a permanent fixture up there.
That's more like, yeah, rockets like that is phenomenal. We have got the all come in. The steal almost pushing k1llsen out of the map. He's got the totem to help him out a bit. Rocket will meet RAISY slightly on the exit of that teleporter. But k1llsen's still got to watch out. He's got a champion advantage, but there's no point stressing yourself and putting yourself on clutch, especially when Ranger's actually not bad at all versus clutch.
Yeah, no need to stress, man.
No stress.
Take it easy.
Yeah, it's as easy as that.
Yeah. All right, k1llsen. He's gonna have. I'm not sure what RAISY was looking for. That is a wall, RAISY. Can confirm.
It
But
was
Killson's actually doesn't have a whole lot of stack to work with here. He's got a great position, but he's letting items go to RAISY. And look at this, RAISY's fully stacked up now. Killson's gonna have to go back to LG room to get any kind of recovery, and that's where RAISY could find him.
I think Killson's pulling out the stops right now.
I don't know. He's scrounging for life. He's looking for air. It's gonna be popping back through TP, back up to top T with only 100 health. There's a little bit of armor, but RAISY's still controlling all the items in. Yeah, at that range, it could have been some cool tri-bolt, but there's a great rail coming out of RAISY, putting Killson down to his own clutch.
The silver lining for Killson at the moment is that RAISY doesn't have his ability. I actually don't know where to go from there. This is really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to be very dangerous here. I mean, Killson obviously, as a clutch, wants to get in close with the shield, but between the SSG and the LG, I think RAISY can still do a lot of damage output, shield or no shield. There it is. And boom goes the dynamite.
I'm just not into Killson's clutch, I'm sorry. I feel like he's been picking it as a sort of half counter to RAISY's clutch, but I feel like this could have been something else that was possible.
Yeah.
Round 2.
Obviously, like a good amount of champions have been banned that can deal with clutch, but there's definitely something else.
Some days you just gotta embrace it. Like, what a play from Killson. Dire orbing through the glory hole and just getting a perfect rail off. Those are the rails that we're looking for from Killson. And he's feeling good about it. He's thinking it's time to chase, it's time to go. There's the stops you were looking for. That's exactly what you were talking about.
All of the stops. That was absolutely glorious, Killson. Now, he doesn't want to rush himself too much. He needs to get a little bit of that chip damage into clutch before he can really think of committing. And definitely, okay, that's really good damage. Now it doesn't matter so much that he doesn't have his ability up. He can hold on with this heavy armor control. And honestly, he should be able to shut this round down as soon as he can force the ability out, I think.
Yeah, he's almost begging RAISY to come at him with a shield now, especially down in this position. Killson can play the geometry for a very long time. RAISY, I mean, he needs to get out of this fight. This is not a place to, like, pop the shield and push. There's too many ways for Killson to get out of it. But now that Killson's down in the pit with him, well, he's going to be right back out thanks to the Dire Orb. But the push still continues. 100 damage rocket, and RAISY drops right down onto the LG. 20 health for Killson. But there's the round, finally tying one back up.
Dude, that was so difficult for Killson. You could see there's an amazing shot from RAISY that knocked him off of the connector area, and he had to orb back up and just clamber to get himself any kind of resources. RAISY chased the entire way, but still incredibly well dealt with from Killson, which was overall a really, really impressive round from him.
Well, we'll see if he can keep it up. He's got armor, he's got rail and rockets. He didn't know exactly where that shotgun shot came from. I'll give you a hint, it's from the TP. And he's thinking that RAISY's a lot closer here. He's ready for this fight, just twitching all over the place, but nope, sorry. He's down on the other side of the map. And he's playing the jump pad a few times like, am I committing? Is this fight happening? I guess it is. But the first rockets go wide. Mega's gonna be back up. It's gonna be baited out and played off by Killson, but he misses the last rail at a critical point. They're both gonna be incredibly weak now, Mega or no Mega.
Is he actually gonna go and race for it? There could be a shot through the hold. There is. He's checking it out. It had me worried a lot for a brief moment. He's been using his ability just strictly for positional use, which worries me a bit. The way that we have these 45-second cooldowns now on the abilities, you know, if he does get into a fight all of a sudden, RAISY's damage output potential increases exponentially. But you know what? Why am I doubting him at all? Because he's doing fantastic damage. He's now taking a lead in the series technically, despite the round not being there.
That
maybe keep it.
Okay,
just
I'm
about.
actually really glad for Killson here because, yeah, he left that Mega up before to make that trap happen on RAISY, and it worked out perfectly. RAISY would have assumed that, like any reasonable person, Killson would have gone for the Mega as it was available. But of course, if you leave an item up, you always risk your opponent, you know, spawning right on it. But the fact that Killson still got that frag back, good for him. But it still left him off tilt, off kilter enough that RAISY could pull it back with the clutch. But now it's going to be clutch on clutch. Killson's got a shield, but he doesn't have any real weapons here. He's going to be able to pick up the Mega. Is that enough to go forward against RAISY?
I think he'll go to the heavy. I think he's got what it takes to do that. But he might have seen that it's been picked up already, which, having heard that bounce pad, I think he's going to take a clue that he didn't get to it that fast after picking up the item. So now he has everything that he needs. He needs to find a way to just open up a fight without taking a massive amount of entry damage.
That's going to be the real trick. RAISY is just playing the angles, backing out of each of these fights, leaving the Mega up. And with a good 15-second split between Mega and Armor, RAISY won't have a whole lot to pick up here for a little while. So this is the window for k1llsen to push forward. He's going to have the stack in charge. Of course, they can both play out the shields, but he's actually kind of scaring RAISY off of the Armor side, which is a good rotation for him. It's a good move for RAISY as well.
He's respecting a lot. It's an interesting fight as well, because RAISY is unquestionably a better clutch. Like, he's totally out of control compared to k1llsen. I'm really curious who's going to win this fight. It's the skill disparity on clutch. Like, they're obviously both pros, but is the skill disparity just on clutch alone? Is it enough that RAISY can still win while out of control?
That is the question, but there's a lot that can happen with clutches, especially with the shield. A lot of damage that can get absorbed, but k1llsen has so much stack to chew through right now. And not a great idea of exactly where RAISY is. There's one rail to kind of soften him up, and you can see that already did a lot of good. 10 seconds to Mega, and RAISY's got to be thinking, is that one rail enough to justify sticking around for this fight? He's still here. k1llsen pushes on through, and the fact that k1llsen pushed forward through the banana is like, all right, cool. Now I can own the Mega. I've got my back to the heavy, which means I can kind of play out the mid-map, and if things go south, then I can get back over to heavy. But actually, this is kind of a long route to take to it. He's leaving a lot of holes open for k1llsen to go over to heavy. Yeah. He's able to get in front of him, though. There's the spawn. Here's the shotgun. Shields are popped, and now RAISY's got a heavy to recover on. Really well played out by RAISY.
Can he actually close it out, though? He's done so much damage. There's a rail angle for a small second. That would have totally crippled k1llsen. It's a really intelligent play from RAISY. He uses his ability to go up towards the item. And normally when a clutch uses their ability first, and you're also playing clutch, you're like, oh, brilliant, I've got a huge advantage because I'm using it second. I'll have it up while he's got it down. But in reality, RAISY's just increased his item control.
Yeah. Yeah, the first thing that happened there was k1llsen crossing over to peek banana, and that's where RAISY just pushed right in. Not realizing that RAISY never left that rail position, and that position, it could be the end of k1llsen as the shields run out. k1llsen's so weak, there's the shoddy, and that's going to be RAISY putting k1llsen down to his Galena.
Oh, I didn't even realize about the clock. We were actually getting about 30 seconds away from the end of this regulation time. There's no shield up until now. He's going to use it, and immediately k1llsen's going to regret his existence as the rocket at the end will secure the kill. That is RAISY now 1 round away from the semi-finals tomorrow, and also the money as well, part of this fantastic $1,500 prize pool that we got for these 8 pros.
All right, but here we go. This could be match point for RAISY. Let's see if he can pull it together. He's going to be going Dire Orb first to a very quick play on the rocket launcher. And yeah, that's one of the great things about the evolution of how Awoken has been played, is finding quicker ways to get to the rocket launcher, really short circuits, you know, whether or not it's a good fight. So most people now will actually not take a fight on rocket launch because they just assume, like, if there's a ranger on the board or a doom guy on the board, then yeah, you don't really know who's going to get there first. Oh, that was almost a knockout right down in the air, but a Dire will prevent the air rocket. Really well played out by k1llsen. Very acrobatic, A+.
Maybe RAISY's spawn is not where he was expecting it. We're getting bumps with the grappling hook. And k1llsen's going to scrounge around the map. Get some semblance of a stack. This actually is going to be pressuring on the Mega Helm. It's been amazing damage from him. RAISY's going to go down again, and he's just left with the clutch. That was quick.
He might be able to make magic happen, but that is a tough spawn for him. He's got to use the shield immediately. Just putting a little bit of pressure on k1llsen, but mostly looking for a way up. But getting the shot off with the starter shotgun. All right. Shotgun wins again. That's going to be k1llsen down to a Galena. But now RAISY doesn't have a shield. He's going to have to pick up this armor. A lot of nail gun damage coming out, and you can see it immediately how much armor that chewed through.
k1llsen's got to keep the pressure up. There's 6 hourglasses on this map. RAISY's going to be thinking about how safe it's to go over to each of them. However, they've been blocked off of these angles for k1llsen to do damage. It's a lot of LG, though. Shotgun is enough in the end. And k1llsen's going to help us tie up the rounds. And he's still alive in this tournament. But he needs to win this next round to kind of reset and take us to a match 4.
That was a tough start for RAISY, and even on the second spawn, he thought that he could push it on forwards. But it's going to be k1llsen on Railgun side this time. He's not going to be going for a fast play on the rocket launcher. So as RAISY comes around this corner, he's already got to realize, like, yeah, that corner's not going to be safe. k1llsen's listening for it. And RAISY's actually crossing all the way back over towards the rail side. So k1llsen, he wanted to be low and slow and get some info, but he's completely lost track of RAISY at this point. He's got to know he's over there.
That
Like,
FOV.
because
Zoom
there's
in.
nowhere else to be. I mean, it's a pretty small map.
There's a bit of that going on here, I swear.
Yeah. Ooh, a little bit of that going on too. We got k1llsen getting a great rail off. Looking for the pressure on the banana, but it's going to be RAISY up at top T instead. And eating a rail immediately through the teleport. He's got to be changing his plans a little bit here. He's looking for another shot. He's not quite going to get it. RAISY just definitely jumps over it. 10 seconds to either of the items, and k1llsen's got a choice to make.
He's just covering his back on this occasion. He doesn't want to get caught out on those teleporters like he did on Corrupted Keep. That's my full analysis. Oh wow, quick orb there from RAISY.
Oh
But
my
the
God.
rockets, they were so good from k1llsen, but even that mid-air wouldn't have closed it out. Again,
it's a lot of
suddenly
stack to
RAISY
shoot through.
turns up the heat.
k1llsen's got to be
k1llsen-
thinking that it's go time though. Like, I did the damage. He's
Wow.
still pretty much exactly where my body dropped, so that's going to even up the frags. RAISY down to his clutch now, and he's been really fantastic with the clutch so far. k1llsen's got to respect it. He doesn't have any totems up, not a whole lot to pick up, and k1llsen's got to be aware of that shield as well. Heavy's back up. 3 seconds to Mega. k1llsen can get that pickup, but making a clean exit could be difficult for him.
It's difficult now. I imagine a lot of pressure being applied from RAISY. k1llsen's just got to, as soon as there's an opportunity to do damage, he's just got to be right there and ready. And this, it feels like such a dangerous spot to hold in this part of the room, because it doesn't take long for RAISY to just be, say, at the tri-bolt corner, or elbow, or banana, and just immediately be all over him.
And k1llsen's keeping a totem up his sleeve. It's going to be a play for Mega here pretty soon. RAISY's going to have to go for the jump pad, but it's a pretty clean one as well. So k1llsen's backing off. Could get knocked out of the map. Has to play out the totem. This LG is insane, though, and k1llsen's on the chase. RAISY down to his last champion. k1llsen might be able to push us into a 4th map.
It absolutely could well do. RAISY's Athena's been probably, I'd say, the weakest champion that we've seen him play in this series
It's
yet.
been really bursty. You know, Athena
Yeah.
dies, but she does so much damage, which is usually why, as a second champion, it's been a good choice for RAISY. But this could be just a little bit too weak to play with. RAISY's got to back off, giving up Mega, giving up armor.
Die yet.
Just playing out for the LG and the health there. Is the small armor not even back there? Ah, lame.
I think k1llsen took it very briefly before that last fight, so up in the next couple of seconds or so.
That guy.
I think so. How dare he? Heavy will also be up shortly. There's that light being picked up now.
Yeah, this could be a full loop for k1llsen because after this heavy, he can collapse onto the Mega. RAISY's going to have to play a little bit of footwork to break out of the side of the map. k1llsen's going to be all over it. Well, playing out the corner with that. Good use of the hook, but is it going to turn into a pickup of the Mega? No. No, it won't.
Well done, k1llsen. Really,
k1llsen's
really
still
well
in the
done.
game.
He is. He is for the time being. We were definitely worried at one point. That last fight as well, somehow he still manages to get the steal onto the Mega before RAISY, even though there were hooks being used. I think there was only 1 or 2 available to RAISY, though. I don't think he had his full cooldown available.
Yeah, that entire play, like, he was going for the initial rocket. He didn't actually get a whole lot of damage off k1llsen on that. And as soon as the Mega spawned, yeah, he tried to hook up there and get the pickup. Missed it. But even if he got the pickup, it's not like he had a lot of armor anyway. That was a pretty ballsy play out of RAISY, to say the least.
Right, we are going over to Molten Falls next, by the way.
All right.
We are getting through these maps right now. I was
Yeah.
having a feeling like this. It doesn't feel like we've got a really slow meta at the moment. We've got light champions.
No.
We've kind of got a bit of everything more involved. And we're only in the first match, and I feel like we've seen like half of the champion pool already play. I'm probably well off of that. This guy's actually saying ready, ready, ready.
Well, you say that, and I wonder if Molten Falls is where somebody picks Sorlag.
I think if
I
we're
mean,
going to
that
get
speed is
Sorlag,
nice.
it's going to be between Tox and Sirius.
Okay, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
for
that's
sure.
the series I expect.
Cooler might go for it as well.
Do you think so?
If it's on Molten, maybe.
Okay. I'm not sure what to expect between these two. I think Athena is something you've got to pick. I think Ranger is something you've got
Yeah.
to pick.
Slash could be viable, yeah.
RAISY's probably going to go clutch. I wonder if k1llsen's going to think that he can go slash instead of something like clutch, and play those holes, play the slidey ground a lot more, because there's a lot better lot better floor for sliding. Is that, I don't know how to say it more
A
elegantly
lot
than
better
that.
floor for sliding.
Yes, a lot slidier, you know, as a map. So just slippery for some reason. Okay, RAISY's actually going to go with the visor instead of what I thought was going to be the ranger.
I can appreciate that. And we got the slash back out from k1llsen, and his final is also going to be a visor. So, yeah, k1llsen doesn't want to play the clutch game anymore. He's given a little bit more room to play out slash. He's going to go for it. But Molten Falls is going to be map 4. It's still doable for RAISY.
I like the champions though that k1llsen's picked. He's got a lot more space to hit those long distance rails, and even with visor going against a clutch, you can still get that vision's going to help from a long distance. You're going to be able to mask using piercing sight a bit more, because obviously now your opponent can hear you using it if you're within a certain proximity. And on this, if you're over at rail and your opponent's over at LG, then they're not going to hear you use it there. So you can get a little bit more deceptive rails and stuff going on.
Well, GL's and HS thrown out here, as we're going to be on RAISY immediately, as we've got a quick pickup for weapons. No mega just yet. A little bit of delay there. A little bit of spin on that mega. And that's going to be a good rail from RAISY, but k1llsen still gets the information, still gets a ton of damage off. RAISY's looking for a way back out, but it's going to be into a shallow grave.
Ain't no stopping for k1llsen there. That was such a sick initial rail as well from RAISY. Okay, and k1llsen just had no idea what was coming at him.
Ugh.
Like both players got caught out right at the beginning. Well, we are deep into a very aggressive series, I'd say. And RAISY's someone who can be one of the most aggressive or defensive players you've ever seen. It usually depends what he's going against. But also k1llsen, I'd say, is not the most aggressive of players in himself. However, we've been getting a pretty aggressive series overall.
Yeah. And it's not going to be ending here at the on Rafa's corner. It's going to be RAISY trying to back out, but k1llsen's also very weak himself. Oh, and he walks right into the rocket. k1llsen getting a freebie out of that one. And putting him on champion point for the round at least. And yeah, getting an early round will absolutely feel good. k1llsen very weak. 1 rocket could do it. 2 rockets could do it. 3 rockets could do it. 4 rockets. None of these rockets are too great, but it's going to be RAISY finally pummeling him down and getting the frag.
I think the greats ate through one of those rockets. Oh, it's going to get stolen right in front of him, and k1llsen is going to lock out the last frag of the round. Put himself.
How long was that round? All right, yeah.
Not long. I could count it on my fingers or something.
Round begins in 3.
I'm so proud of you.
Similar amount.
You've come so far. Yeah. All right, so RAISY's going to get a similar spawn, but instead of delaying the mega, he's going to go for it immediately, realizing that k1llsen's going to be coming down the chute from LG and checking it, and there's perfect prediction. A lot of damage, and k1llsen doesn't want to stick around for that fight. In fact, it's more fun just to keep that momentum and keep on running.
I do like seeing slash, actually. I'm gonna go from k1llsen's point of view.
Oh, I know
Even
you
though
do.
we're on RAISY at the moment, just see how it is, because it's just pretty. He's actually been really solid. Some people, like patch by patch, always get to this flash viable or not, and k1llsen's been generally showing us this series that I think he has been. I've maybe cursed it then in the fight, where RAISY narrowly gets that victory. But
and again, it comes down to weapon choice. It was the starter shotgun that really won that for RAISY, where k1llsen was still trying to make it happen with rockets. So yeah, RAISY's had really good awareness of what weapon is right in the correct situation. But k1llsen, it's gonna have mega off the spawn, quite a bit of armor as well. So 1 minute in, k1llsen's down a champion, but RAISY is actually in a bad spot.
k1llsen's going for the big ball play, trying to get a steal going in. I think that's something that a player like RAISY would expect from k1llsen. He does this a lot. I wouldn't say he does it every rotation of items. However, if he thinks he can get away with it, he actually might with Ranger. So basically, as RAISY, you just need to be prepared to deal damage when he's on his way through that ult process.
Oh no, that is not a good way to avoid damage, RAISY. It's going to be a lot of LG, a lot of rocket. He's waiting desperately for this heavy armor. He's going to get the pickup, but he's still very weak here. I mean, he did enough damage to k1llsen to make him back off, but with the play here to mega, this is very aggressive for RAISY. The hooks aren't quite on point, but it's enough to get the mega. And up the jump pad, RAISY is now on the prowl. There's the rail, locked and loaded.
Sick rail. Really, really nice shot from RAISY. I think he's going to find k1llsen. He's going to push in. That initial rail missed. Rocket, see you later.
Goodbye.
Just watch. Just watch it. You could have helped him prevent, it could have prevented him from falling to his death, but
Yeah,
it's
say
more
hi
satisfying to
Rafa
watch.
while you're down there.
Yeah.
Round begins in
Again, never forget.
2,
Never forget.
1. Round 3.
All right, one to one here. As we got Razy getting the same spawn again, but he's breaking off the other way immediately. So did k1llsen. They both just like completely janked away from where they were originally, and now we've got a similar situation to the first round, but this time Razy's still alive. Well, he's not super comfortable with that fact. He's kind of playing the jump pad a little bit more. Doesn't need to be here. There's nothing he can really gain. Except k1llsen dropping right into his lap for that initial rocket. Can he get the next one? Oh, no, look off the map! It's going to be a mutual frag on the Mega with nothing to play for. That was an unnecessary fight.
You know what?
Okay.
I didn't know I wanted to see it, but after I saw it, I was very happy that I did see it. This is a very quick round yet again, though.
Yeah.
And k1llsen's going to move into the LG. There's so much entry damage done by Razy. Oh, but he cannot take down the fight. k1llsen is just confident in his aim. However, he's going to have to be more than confident right now because there is going to be a clutch barreling down on him. And he's got an incredibly mediocre stack.
Well, Razy's got a good position to make some decisions here. A little bit early for this heavy, but k1llsen's going to be more concerned about the Mega. But Razy actually going through rail side, I like this, but he's, of course, backing off. It's very rarely that you see players move all the way through that room. It's just too dangerous, too much ground to cover in mid-map. Just don't want to play it.
Well, now Razy hasn't been able to do the full refrag. k1llsen's got his ability back up. He's got a good stack himself. This is where we kind of see that theory being played out right at the beginning of the game when they were selecting those champions. k1llsen knew this is a situation or an eventuality to be ready for. So it's time to man up against that clutch.
Razy losing a little bit of his height advantage, but back through TP, expecting to find k1llsen down at the bottom of LG stairs, but it's not going to happen. k1llsen's making his way very slowly over towards heavy. Very slowly. And quietly as well. He's going to have more information about Razy at this point, but there's the play on the corner. And Razy still manages to get the bulk of the damage, including the first damage. So even with that heavy picked up, Razy has done a lot of work here. That was a play that absolutely should have been in k1llsen's hands.
You think so? I thought that was... Yeah. It was just... I think he should have had that better starting damage when Razy went into LG. So I was really surprised actually that Razy actually got the initial damage instead. But given that k1llsen has actually survived that whole encounter, now he's in a really good spot.
Things have gotten better for him since. We've got heavy picked up, Mega's in the hands of k1llsen as well. Razy's going to be down here looking for a Mega, but he might find k1llsen ready with the rocket launcher instead. But Razy's actually, I don't know if he's lost timing on the Mega, but he just left it up completely. Didn't hear it, didn't see it, didn't time it. And that could cost him.
The rush.
Oof.
Shield forced out.
Great SSG.
He's so low, he's so low.
Oh!
Who
And it's going to be a frag suicide for a round win from k1llsen.
k1llsen.
Prepare to fight.
Somehow.
Everything exploded at the end. And you can see that Razy still had the shield up. He's like, I really hope he just fires one more rocket because then he'd kill himself and Razy would survive. But k1llsen waited the whole way. It was like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah, well, it's kind of his forte, but we got Razy going for Visor this time, keeping that Athena in his back pocket, maybe a little bit too dangerous as a first champion. As k1llsen still on that slash, Razy just really defending the railgun room. Looking for good use of it, looking for k1llsen to come back in. And not getting the angle just yet, so that's going to be k1llsen playing outside towards the Mega more. But getting a lot of good audio cues on the heavy. Here we go, it's going to be the big fight. Razy's got his rails, but no real damage there. He's still able to push in and get all the pickups he needs, which means another fight here on the Mega. So even with k1llsen getting the pickup, a great rail to knock all that off. Oh, and that was barely one pixel off from getting one more fantastic rail out of Razy. He's looking for the shot, looking for the chase, but how long can you chase the slash before she is just gone and lapping you?
It was impressive that he managed to find another couple of rail angles there. He's going to find k1llsen once more. That health is back down to what it was a moment ago. Good use of the plasma trail to cut off that area to chase. But Razy is going to swing over to the mega health once more. I love that he drops down to the bottom instead of going to another route. And I think k1llsen was maybe expecting to either go by LG or not drop to the bottom, just go by rockets, possibly. So great follow-up from RAISY. Well worth the risk, having all the health and armor that he had.
And he had the right anticipation. His nail gun was looking a little bit shaky at the beginning, but close range like that, ll.sen didn't really have an answer. He got stuck on the dire orb and couldn't find a way out. ll.sen, a good spawn from him, but RAISY's able to pick up the heavy. Not quite able to make it up the jump pad, but that rail will certainly make up for it. Yeah, that was worth it. And here's a mega play as well. So things are looking good for RAISY at the moment.
Good
Work.
ll.sen. Oh, he
Work.
actually goes by for another. What the hell? That was risky. RAISY was expecting a bit more dodging. And now ll.sen's just being ll.sen. This is actually what he does best, is being ll.sen. And that usually
what he does best
rail
is not being
rail.
ll.sen until the final moment possible.
You might be right about that. RAISY's really stuck at the moment. He's probably thinking more about the clock right now than he is thinking about how in the hell he's going to be able to get a frag.
Getting some 25s would be pretty good. And this is my amateur advice, RAISY. Just, you know, a little bit of that help. It's nice.
That is some good advice.
Yeah. Alright, so RAISY a little bit light on the armor. ll.sen fully stacked up, but he's down to just his visor here. So yeah, if RAISY can get a few rails off of his own, that'll certainly be good for him. But here we go. We got a little bit of extra armor for RAISY, still keeping it really low and slow. But it could be a collapse here on the Mega. Really good time for RAISY to back off. That was fantastic. He's got the initial damage with the LG. It's going to come down to shaft on shaft. And with 8 HP, RAISY manages to take the round.
That's actually insane. I think that's partially down to RAISY's amazing timing. He knew that he didn't have to worry about the Mega pickup straight away. And also because he got that entry damage when ll.sen fired that rocket at the beginning. So that meant ll.sen was a little bit of time behind dealing damage. And then RAISY felt like he'd done enough to start with, that this is just an equal LG fight. And
yeah, he had to run the numbers in his head real quick. And that's exactly why you don't push through this room. That's why you don't see anybody do it. That's why. All right, so bad news for ll.sen. Didn't want to lose his slash that quickly. He's on to his ranger now. RAISY, though, I mean, you take an early fight and you're like, great, well, now where do I need to be? I don't know where to respond. Because I killed the guy, I've lost a lot of information, and I don't even necessarily know which item to be at.
RAISY's going to like having stack armor, though. He's got an ability to work with. I think ll.sen would have heard it, though. It was around that kind of edge of voiceover proximity.
Can certainly deal with that. RAISY looking for this rail, not quite gonna get it. But RAISY actually, oh yeah, he hears the jump and drops down anyway. Okay, yeah, how deep are these mind games gonna go? We're gonna be rocket jump, but I'm gonna drop down anyway, fake a rocket at you, and then go back up myself. But in the meantime, ll.sen's taking a bit of a pummeling, and RAISY's still playing it with the LG, pushing forward here to the Mega, knowing that it's up, and ll.sen hasn't made the drop just yet. But there's the break off. There's the final cessation in the action, as there's still 15 seconds before the heavy armor comes back up. This is a lot of time to play for RAISY not really having much of a stack advantage.
I'm actually surprised that RAISY didn't push a bit more into Mega, but maybe he just felt like if ll.sen was waiting around the corner, then he was going to get too much entry damage. Oh, the rush from ll.sen yet again is so much damage. Yep. Did ll.sen get the heavy? Yep. I don't know.
I thought he did. I thought he just had none armor.
You're probably right. Yeah, you must be right.
Yeah, must be. Yeah.
No, you're off. But I'm left very confused for a moment.
Oh, RAISY's having a tough time on this jump pad. He's looking for an exit. Drops down immediately for the 225s, but it's going to leave him with limited exit options. Oh, great little air dash there, giving himself a little bit of extra time, but not the room that he needs. ll.sen still on the chase, getting a rail off, and RAISY just cannot create enough distance on Molten Falls. This is kind of what you're talking about earlier, Zoot, with ll.sen able to make good use of those long-range rails so that no matter how fast RAISY goes, he can't quite get away.
Mega wasn't taken. I think he's delaying deliberately, but he's got to start making a move right now just so he can get over to the heavy in time. I think he's going to go via upper. Oh, it's a brilliant cutoff actually from RAISY. So much damage, 10 health left. Does he want to go and close this kill out or get the heavy armor? Well, he's got plenty of time to deal with pressure afterwards, but he needs to secure a kill soon. This would be an insane comeback.
He needs to not be found. Yeah, ll.sen, very quiet. taking the jump pad. It's going to be a little bit risky, but he's assuming that RAISY's moving quickly enough through the heavy to not see him down there. So they could meet back over by Mega, but Mega's already taken. llsen is essentially giving up all of map control just to stay alive and get back up to 100-100.
He had the heavy getting taken, which is also a big sanity.
Nice. Yeah, even without hearing, RAISY's paranoia is certainly paying off. You look at RAISY's face and you're like, that is one paranoid man. Like, he shoots around every corner just in case, and it's paying off for him. Good use of the hook. That's going to keep llsen on a leash. And that's going to allow RAISY to get a fairly clean frag, actually. We've got 5 seconds to heavy coming back up, and llsen's going to pop the sight, but this could be a fight where RAISY just wants to push in on the armor. He's respecting llsen enough at the moment, though, so there's the armor for you. Congratulations. Not even going to hit the rail.
This is really even at the moment. RAISY, even though he didn't hear the piercing sight being used, he knew that it was being used, so he didn't offer those free angles when he was over at LG. Now the Mega Health's going to be coming up in a moment. RAISY's gone pretty passive. He's waiting for the right moment to strike, which has not been yet, apparently.
And passive is the right word. It kind of goes back to that heavy. Is like, was it right to let llsen get away with that? Like, sure, he peeked for a rail, but he missed it. And was even that one rail going to be worth it? So llsen now, without really doing anything, has gained full control of the map, and RAISY has to leave it completely. So we've got, 30 seconds on the clock, but down to the last champion, last round of Molten Falls. Clock no matter matters. It's just going to be down to these rails, but RAISY catching him off guard with the LG once again. How many times has that happened? RAISY getting his third map under his belt finally, but that rail to LG drop, yeah. This has been a game defined by RAISY just running the numbers in his head. Shouldn't he pick this one? Running the numbers in his head and going, all right, I can do 20 points more LG damage than he can to me right now. So good job there, and that's